Hello everyone, this is Faruk and welcome to Revpanda Live. Think of a major iGaming market that still holds a lot of potential but carries so many complexities. It's a market where fortunes can be made, but only if you know how to play the game. Yes, we'll talk about Germany today. It isn't just another European market, it's a regulatory labyrinth, a hub for challenges, opportunities, and innovation. To break it all down, I'm joined by two industry titans, Dimitry Voelkle, Managing Director at Zelda Consulting, a strategist who knows the German market like no other, and also we have Roger Redfearn-Tyrzyk, Vice President at IDnow, an expert in compliance, security, and player verification. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for the invite.
Yeah, thank you, Faruk. Thank you so much.
Amazing. For those who just had the chance to meet you today for the first time, would you please tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and you can just take whichever order you want.
Roger, go forward. You first.
Okay, no worries. So my name is Roger. I've been with IDnow since May 2019, so quite a long time. And we're the pioneers of KYC in the German market, and have been following the German market for for a long time now. And before it was regulated, or fully regulated, and now of course since 2020. We've been working with a lot of sports betting companies and also online casinos to make sure that everyone is safe on the platform, and that people who are only play when they're over 18. So that's pretty much what we do. And sometimes KYC can be very boring, but we try to make it a little bit more exciting at times.
Cool.
Amazing. Dimitri, your turn.
Yeah, my turn. So, my name is Dimitry Voelkle. I'm the director and also CEO from Zelda Consulting. So I'm now in iGaming and sports betting since 2003, a little bit more than that, working for operators and providers at the same time. So working for big companies as well. And I also have a bit of knowledge of KYC as well. And nowadays I built up since 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, my company, Zelda Consulting, and helping other companies to get into the markets, get the right companies in their network, saving money and time for the company. So in several markets, but especially for Germany. Yeah. So.
Amazing. Thank you, gentlemen. Dimi, Roger, I'd like to set the stage a little bit before we get started. Today we'll have a slightly different format than usual. Of course, I've got the questions that I was wondering and I was waiting to ask you, and also we got some of them from our social media, from our followers. So let's have today's conversation more like a fireside chat. Please feel free to step in and answer anytime. Let's make it more interactive today. This session is brought to you by Pinup Partners, the leading iGaming affiliate program with over 8 years of experience, flexible geoterms, and award-winning reliability. Let's get to it, gentlemen. Germany. It's a hot topic, and I think it will always be a hot topic because it has constant shifts in regulations and compliance challenges. So let's start with a quick market pulse check. With Germany's changing regulations and everything, how do you see the current state of the German iGaming market?
Yeah, let's start with it. So on my side, I'm thinking of, when I'm just concentrate on the European market and especially on the German market, Germany is on one side a real valuable market. So it's, I think, as an iGaming company or as a sports betting company, it's really necessary to be on the market. But be careful. There are quite strict regulations there, and you can't compare those regulations with, in my opinion, with any other markets. So there's the GGL, and the GGL is taking care. They're in place now for a few years, but they're taking care that the whole market, I will say it's like on a highway. In the beginning, it's more like a small road, but there are bumpers on the right and the left side where every company can go forward inside of this street. So they know exactly what they have to do. And so I think for me, it's a real prospering market. You have to be there if you want to be a number one player or number two or under the first 10 players in the European market.
Yeah, I can only back this up. I mean, like this year, the market is supposed to reach around about 25 billion euros in size, which of course, creates huge opportunities for companies that want to have really nice numbers. However, of course, you have to always look at the other side of the medal, because there's always two sides to it. So if you look at the player acquisition costs historically over the last 10 years in Germany, I mean, it's gone up 15-fold, which in certain cases, especially when you are a smaller company, when you're a startup and you're trying to get into this market, can be very challenging at times, because you're going to need deep pockets. You're going to have to do some, of course, marketing. The bonuses, of course, are hugely restricted, as there are in, I would say, in all the major regulated markets right now. However, like Dimi says, it still proves to be a great opportunity. And I would also say, not only on the online side, but also on the land-based side. So there is still a lot of land-based gambling going on in Germany, and a lot of stuff going on. So if you are an operator that can operate on an omni-channel approach, then even better, because you see so many betting shops, and of course in whichever big city you are, you can see an example, typical shops quite a lot, and which obviously reflects on also how big typical is on the German market. As an example, I mean, of course, there is a lot of other players, such as Bet365, Entain with bwin, and Sporting Bet and other brands, and you also have, let's say, your mid-sized players, and also players who are born in the market, like Bet at Home, for example, and Roots with a couple of brands. I mean, I'm just counting some. I'm not making any advertisement here for for any of those operators, but you can see there is a lot of difference. And if you want a healthy market, you always need competition, right? You always need innovation. You always, because in the end of the day, if you only have 2 or 3 really big brands, they always feel safe, because that's pretty much the only ones you can gamble on. And, it just helps everyone around them. So if there's anyone with a cool game, or with an example, like a cool new design that's a lot more user friendly, all of it counts into it. So no one can really rest on the laurels and have to innovate and stride forward to make it as interesting as possible, because in the end of the day, it is entertainment, and players want to be entertained, and that's what we all want, that we have a prosperous legal market, where everyone is also of course protected at all times.
Gentlemen, very well said. Especially, I loved, Dimi, what you mentioned. There's one of the toughest, I would say, maybe the toughest, because we work with a lot of operators, and they're always scared, doing any kind of move in the market. And Roger, you actually touched base on my next question I wanted to ask you. Now we have got the snapshot of the market from you, but let's talk about opportunities. And Roger, you were saying about new players in the market, new operators who would like to enter the market. So now we have got all these strict player protection measures in place. You were mentioning that it is important to have the protection and everything, of course, 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, can Germany still be considered as a lucrative market for new operators entering the market?
That's a very good question, and I think also very, very tough to answer, I would say. I mean, like I said, I think if you want to be successful in the German market, you either have such a cool concept that it runs without it. I mean, there is certain rules, right? So, when you talk about a company, you want your marketing to be as good that you don't need a product and a sales team. You want your product to be so good that you don't need marketing or sales, and you want your sales to be so good that you don't need any marketing and the product, right? So it's on all 3 fronts you have to be very good. And I think one of the things that Germany was always very special is the types of games that people play. I mean, if you look at an example, Book of Ra, for an example. I mean, Book of Ra has been the top 3 game in Germany since, since probably I was born in '92, to be honest. And Germans, we as Germans, we sometimes, struggle with change as well. So, that's kind of like the mentality. And, when all these new games come in where there is, like an example, instead of 12 lines, all of a sudden there is 108 lines, and everything's, popping down, everything's going off. I mean, it seems quite cool in terms of the animations, but I think, the German market is special in the sense that people love simplicity, but also like, a little bit of a challenge, right? And I think if you look at the games, I mean, of course, GreenTube is has had the household of the German market together with Pragmatic for some years now. And I would say if you want to come to the German market, you better have a cool marketing plan. You better have the good relationships with the affiliates, because you're going to need it. Just something a little bit different, something fresh, something that kind of speaks to maybe the younger generation. I mean, I don't mean obviously, let's say the under 18s, but certainly the the people that are in between 20 and 30, right? Because people gamble less, throughout the years, and it's just like, okay, what can I do to get this generation to see it as entertainment and to have fun on it, right? So, but I mean, it's a lot easier said than done, and yeah.
Roger, when you say people between 20 and 30, you definitely refer to myself and Dimi. Thank you
Yes,
for
of
that.
course. Yes, of course. I mean, we just spoke about it. We just spoke about it that it's Dimi's 29th birthday next week. So of course, we need people like Dimi to play.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's a very, very lucrative market once you get the foothold in there. I mean, but you have to get there first, and that journey is a little bit treacherous for sure.
For the new entrants, I think Dimi has a very cool theory. Dimi, you were telling me about it before the session.
I think on one side, to make it short, you need money. That's the first thing. Money, and money. Because you have to go through all the regular stuff from the GGL. You have to place 5 million up to a deposit for iGaming, and then a few millions for sportsbook as well. Then you have to build up, maybe Roger can say it as well, you have to build up a whole AML. You have to do ISO certifications. You have to get the right people into the market. You have to build up a headquarter and place your employees there in Germany. And then you need for sure native speakers. And by the end, when you build up everything, and that's why I'm coming to the point of money, then you have the games there from your game provider. Then the game provider have to send it to the GGL. Then it takes half a year to get the games approved. And then as a provider, or as an operator, you got the games, and then you have to certify them again for half a year or also a year. So you need a lot of money and a lot of knowledge. And then when we are talking, as Roger said, about affiliation, be careful that because you're taking the risk of your affiliates. So when the affiliates are advertised, all that stuff, and maybe they're also advertising at the same time with an unregulated casino, then you have to take care. Then you're in responsibility for it. Mm-hmm. So it's really tricky, and a lot of companies tried it. And they're running out of money. They're saying, oh, there's no reason why we have to go there. Then also when we're thinking about the games, Roger said, they have to be innovative. And then there's the magic free capitals, RTP. So when you're going and looking for Canada, for example, you have an RTP, return to player, 96, 95, round about that. Now we're looking at Germany. There's even the first digits is a 7 at the moment. So 7, 9, 7, 8. So it's really tough to get the games prepared. and then also making the right advertisement when we are talking about, or maybe we can come up later there. There are strict rules where you're allowed to place your advertise and the different channels. So, but maybe you're going come to there later.
Yeah,
By the
yeah,
end,
we'll
make
get
it
to
work.
that.
You need money. Yeah.
Love it. You made it like super simple for everybody. Gentlemen, we have seen some other major European markets that they were evolving with strict compliance frameworks. For instance, UK, Sweden, and the Netherlands could be the best examples for that. How do you compare the German iGaming market with other major European markets in terms of growth potential that we were just talking about and the market saturation?
Yeah, well, when you compare it, for example, so for sure you have the biggest market in the UK, so it's a real big market. But as you can also see that more and more companies are leaving the UK market because it's getting more and more, how should I say, more and more difficult to survive. And when we are looking now in the German market, there you have to pay a lot of fees. Sorry, you have to pay a lot of fees. Hopefully, no fines. You have to pay a lot of fees, taxes as well. When we are talking about payment providers, so all those money you have to pay for it, and if you compare it, for example, with the UK, I think it's also getting, I think, as hard as is even harder than in the UK. Compared with the Netherlands, the Netherlands are getting more and more closer to the regulations of Germany. So if you're looking to Denmark, it's also a really prospering, I will not say prospering, but it's also quite a good market. But by the end, we have 83 million of people living in Germany. It's the second biggest when you call Russia is also part of Europe. So it's the second biggest country in Europe for sure. And I think 60% out of it are playing Lotto Toto. So there is a reason why companies are going there. And I think for German, it's a prospering market, but you have to stick to the rules, and then you can succeed for sure. Maybe you're in a different meaning, Roger, or what do you think about that?
I think when we like I was just looking at the stats, before I say them here, but in if you look at the regulation, I mean, regulation is, like we always say, is good if the regulation is good, and if we look at the difference of numbers here, so in 2007, 55% of Germans gambled in some sort of way. In 2021, that was down to 30%. And, so you got to ask yourself, so where's the 25% gone, right? I mean, where have these people gone? I mean, I can tell you where they've gone, which, it's a little bit like with Harry Potter. It's like, don't say the name of that thing. But, and end of the day, like if you look at the numbers, if you look at the let's say where the market has been going, and it's really, let's say, concerning, right? If you look at the tax that has been taken in from online gambling in Germany, it's been decreasing now for six half years now, right? So H1, H2, it's just keeps going down, and then I can give you a very good comparison where the regulation came into Italy and everyone was really upset about it, and everyone said, this is not going to work, and of course it didn't work. However, what we can see in 2020, when we were at such a bad point in the market, there was 88 billion euros wagered in Italy in 2020, and we are up to 136 in 2022. So the market again, or the legal market, is starting to to recover again, and a lot of players let's say have a nice experience again. It makes sense for companies to again invest in sponsorships with football clubs, to sponsor some communities, grassroots football, etc. So you see the effects of good regulation in Italy. I mean, Italy's the best example, but going back to what Dimi said about the UK market example, I have also the fear in Germany that it's not viable for smaller companies to be present in the market anymore, because you're gonna need probably 20 to 30 million pounds before you can even start it, because if you started with less than that, all the costs on the compliance side to get your licenses, to pay the lawyers, to pay to like Dimi was saying, to build up your compliance team, because like compliance used to be, I would say, when I started in this industry in 2015, it was something like, yeah, if I need it, all right, whatever. But now you've seen the switch now where companies, or let's say where operators, don't see compliance as a burden anymore. They actually see it as an enabler in the market, because when they provide a good player experience, then the player is going to stay more loyal with you, because he has a cool product. He also has a nice enough experience, even though there is those let's say restrictions. But it's all about player education, and I think sometimes in the market we just forget about those simple things about player education. So like sometimes when someone logs in, or when you start an online game, like, why don't you just explain to the to the player, because of regulations, there is an example, a 5-second cool off, as an example, and as Germany specific here, or you can only stake up to X amount of money, and so on and so on. It's just sometimes these simple things are the best things, because you'd rather just spend, I don't know, 200k into player education than 2 million euros on a marketing campaign that will bring players in, but are those players going to stay? And that's the biggest difference here. I feel that we have to get back to those simple things like player education. And I mean, from our perspective, at least, what we've now seen is that we have to invest more time into player feedback. So what does the player actually want from me as a KYC supplier? I know like KYC is only a small part of the chain here. There's a lot, there's a lot more things, but you got to start somewhere. And we actually have an active feedback survey after every verification that we do, and we take it in account to what do we need? Do you need more, let's say, instructions how to hold your documents? Do you need more instructions how to do the selfie, etc., etc., or what did you not like in the design? So it's just really about creating a market for the players that are done by the players. And again, I know there is a lot of disgruntled players that will just say everything's crap, and this is not good, this is not good. But there is some there is a lot of constructive criticisms from players, and they should be also taken account. So I think education of players needs to be now a little bit more at the forefront of everyone's thoughts in any market, to be honest, not just Germany.
Yeah.
Roger, thanks for touching base on the player education part, because this is mostly overlooked when you look at the market, not in Germany, but in other markets too. I would like to go back to the topic. Let's address to the elephant in the room. Dimi, you were talking about GGL. Some see it as a kind of a game changer. It's like Roger, as he said, like when players are protected, when the experience is good, actually it is beneficial for market. Some people also see this as a kind of a roadblock. I was wondering, what are the biggest challenges or opportunities GGL represents for operators and affiliates for the German iGaming market?
I would say, to be honest, the as I said in the beginning, the big advantage or the big good thing is that the GGL is giving you a road where you can, I would say, where you can drive on. So that's exactly, it's shown under certification, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. Everything is written down. So this is, I would say, the big advantage that as an operator or even as a provider, when you're offering your games, what you have to do, that you're allowed to go into the market. and you have to go strictly forward. For sure, now we can discuss, is it worth or is it not? And we're on the topic of money. Yes, for sure, it takes a long time, but therefore GGL was built to take care of it, that that only regulated companies are offering their products. For sure, we can talk about the other markets. We don't want to pronounce it and we don't want to say it. But if you're stick into the regulations, then it's for sure that's the good thing, that the GGL is there and you can follow up this. For sure, on the other side, on the negative side, as I said, cost you money. You need a lot of knowledge. For sure, you need native speakers. And as Roger said, that's a special thing in Germany. You need the right employees to get a connection to your players and also to explain it. Because when they're saying, why I'm not allowed to place this, that, or why I'm not allowed to do this, why I have to send you all my documents to get my money from you. Therefore, you need educated and special employees to talk with with your customers. That's the most important thing, because there's so many rules to follow. But by the end, if you're following it and you're understanding it, I think that's a good way to offer. But as I said, it costs money and it costs time. But you have to do that. Roger, you're much more in AML, KYC, and all that stuff. I think you can tell a whole story about it, what you have to do about it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'll tell the whole story, we would still probably be here until
Right.
but I do agree that with the GGL, there is a lot of black and white, right? So there is clear instructions, and there isn't any grounds of interpretation either way. So it is very black and white, which is refreshing to see from regulators. Also, it's at certain times. And I couldn't agree more on the points that Dimitry said. I think one thing that I would wish that the GGL would do is that they would at least like once a quarter, an example, do some like roundtables, right, where like representatives from companies, whether that is suppliers, whether that is operators, can get together. And it doesn't have to be anything really fancy or whatever, right? I mean, you can meet on university grounds, or you can meet somewhere where you can all get together. And I'm also sure that events like these, you will find enough suppliers that will want to sponsor it. So by the way, GGL, if you need a marketing or like strategy, how to get some more money, just let me know. I'm happy to help. But no, on a serious note, I think these roundtables would help a lot, because it would also show the willingness from the regulator to take into account some of the feedback and the conversations. Because I think we always complain a lot, and that's the nature of us, especially us Germans. We complain a lot, and I think if you take these conversations to a little bit of a different level and diffuse and have a discussion rather than a heated debate or something, right? I mean, we want to discuss how can we take this market forward. We also know that regulators cannot do everything at once. But at least you can put certain things in place and how to do them. So, nothing bad against the regulator, but I just wish that there would be more interactions with the licensees and with its suppliers.
Exactly. Just to as you said, Roger, to have the dialogue, because the operators and the providers, they are the experts in the market. They are working and to be fair, how should the employees on the GGL to get all those informations? That's why you have to build up a dialogue, talking with the big ones, with the regulated people, talking about the trends, or also talking about the fears the GGL have, just to work together. I think that's the most important thing. Don't say, everything is we'll call it in a slang word, is shitty or something. We have the regulation, and for sure we can dig our head in the ground and say, everything is bad. No, this is there. Let's talk together, build a dialogue, and the people want to gamble, but they have to be in a certain way to get protected. That's the way we want to do it in Germany, and let's build it up together, because it's not a project where there's an ending. It will be there the whole time. So let's talk with the companies in the market together, and then build up something, more smooth, more cool. And I think that's the right way we have to do it.
I think it is very crucial that the regulators, they also have a better look to the market, because usually they are seeing the market behind the filter, let's call it, because operators, as you say, Dimi, they are doing the real work, and it is important that the regulators, they really understand. I will make sure that I will send the recording to GGL, and they will maybe organize more roundups and everything else. And also, I want to touch base on industry events. Like sometimes there are smaller industry events, as you know very well, like networking events, for instance. And we see like regulators are joining there too. And I see more and more numbers coming from those official names. So that's actually really good improvement in market. And thanks for bringing this topic up, gentlemen. The communication, the dialogue part is very important. Speaking about the player experience, because you were so far really heavily touching on based on that one, technology is one of the components that is shaping the player experience. Nowadays, we talk about AI, blockchain has been an important topic, of course, gamification, and we've got right now advanced verification tools that are really changing the way operators engage and protect players. Maybe, Roger, we can start with you in this case, because as Dimi said that you have really a good background on this topic. What emerging technologies are influencing the iGaming space in 2025, and which ones are trending in the German market particularly? You can start with the KYC parts, verification, or anything that you wish to.
Yeah, I don't think there is the technology I would say that's an advancement for this year. I think of course there is this all the conversations in Europe going on about about digital identity wallets, which for sure will change a lot and will change the landscape, because then of course if you are issued a digital ID, there is no need to scan your ID, which let's say like a physical ID, which of course again is better for the operators, because you can manage fraud a lot better. Because if you have the official connector, and again, I mean, fraudsters are fraudsters, so they will always find a way of doing something. But I think if you have something which is issued by, an example, the EU with specific, like let's say wallet connector, etc., and I won't go into the details here because I don't want to give the fraudsters the right ideas. But in the end of the day, I think the biggest thing in the German market for this year, and this is something that we are actively working on, is a solution for affordability, or as they have it in the UK with financial risk checks. So I think right now in Germany, this is not a good solution, because like right at this time you have two solutions. You can either do an open banking check, where a lot of people, there's still not a lot of acceptance around it, especially for like verification purposes. And if someone tells you, hey, I'm going to look at your whole bank account to see how much you're gambling or whatever, you're not getting far. Or you can ask people for a wage slip or a bank statement, which again is very intrusive. It takes a long time to read out. I mean, we have a solution which can read out all the item lines automatically, but you still got to double check because of the regulations, because you cannot just take decisions of a supplier, face value. There always needs to be a second check by the operator themselves. So, we want to, really look at it in a different way, and, be able to provide something which is a lot more, which is like a check in the background. And I know there's, of course, Schufa, but we are actively also, working together with Schufa, we need something that's in the background, and where the player doesn't feel like it's like I'm scanning his whole life. There should be, in a way, and I'm speaking like a player myself, right? Because I wouldn't want to provide my wage slips and my bank statements to a gambling operator, because it just seems to me like, okay, like I'm giving my whole life away. But at the end, I understand from a compliance perspective that this needs to happen, because you need to be sure where this money is coming from, because you also don't want people to use any stolen money, or if he's a gambling addict, that he's gambling away his whole wages and his family doesn't have, or her family don't have any money, or something's going on. So this is a big topic, but it needs people to look at it and come up with something that's that's a lot better than what's available right now. And with the regulations and the demand on it, I feel like it needs to happen. I think on the ID verification side, I think we're absolutely fine where we are in the German market. There's very good conversion rates, whoever you use. There's not just obviously like my company, but there's a lot of other suppliers who are very good. I think it's fine where we are. It's just about simplifying more things for the players, to again not have compliance as a blocker, but more of an enabler. So on the technology side, I would feel on like compliance, there isn't a lot that you will see this year. I think this will be a little bit of a bridge year, but I do fully expect that from 2026 onwards, you will see a lot more, digital wallets, and also like the EID in Germany, which you can do with your Personalausweis, or with your German ID, where you just type in a PIN and do an NFC check on it. So I think we'll see a lot more of that, because the acceptance of the German people towards this is a lot higher than it used to be like 4 years ago, an example. I would fully expect the wallet to be a lot more prevalent, from next year onwards in Germany.
Yeah, absolutely, Roger. As I would say, it's like a circle. As I said in the beginning, there are a lot of new technologies are coming up. You can see it in the other markets. But as I said in the beginning, we are regulated. And on the other side, we also, I would say that's the wrong word to say. We have to educate the GGL. They are already educated. But we know what's going on in different markets, what new technologies are, and nearly every week there's something new, every month there's something new. But when you're sitting together and just show them what's going on in the market, what's the new stuff, that's the only way, I think, to get something new in the market. Because for sure, a lot of people are saying, the GGL are refusing this or refusing that. Yes, because at the beginning they have to follow the rules, and we have to show them that our new tech stuff, what we are offering in the market, belongs to your rules. But we have to tell them, and we have to show them on a channel way, and that's why we have to sit together on a regular basis, showing what's going on in the market, what's new, and then just to helping to work together. So sorry, don't want to interrupt you, Roger, but I think that's the most important thing. There are thousands of new stuff are going up, but we can't use it in Germany before the regulator will not say yes, they are approved, and that's why we have to talk. That's the most important thing.
We have discussed the market potential. We talked about regulations, technology as well. In this part of our discussion, let's focus maybe on a little bit more actionable strategies. Based on your expertise, I would like to ask you some of the top recommendations you would give to iGaming operators to succeed in the German market in this year, 2025.
Ooh.
Briefly.
Briefly, okay. So my advice would be for 120%, stick to the rules and get your certification, working together with the right companies which are also certified. It's not only the certification to get the certification from the GGL, you need ISO certification and all the other stuff. Take it really serious, working with the right companies together, which are established on the German market, and also following and also asking the companies what I have to do on this side, what I have to do on this side. Because if you're not asking and just following what you're thinking is the right stuff, then you will for sure lose your certification from the GGL. So that's why companies like on my side here giving the advice, getting the right connection, that they're saving the money, that they're saving also time. And the most important thing, it's not only in Germany, it's also in the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, is KYC, is AML. That's, I think that's the most important thing what you have to check. And with this stuff you can build up a proper, I would say, a customer journey. That's why Roger also is here, because that's the most important thing, to make it smooth through the through sports betting and iGaming as well. If you know your customer and you're taking care of AML, and that's the right way, that the experience of your customers are the best one. And that's my advice. Stick to the companies who are already established. This will save money, and for sure get a consultant on your side who's helping you. And I think Roger will set the same. AML, KYC. It's, for me, it's the most important thing to that you will gain money, and also offering the best product in the market in Germany.
Yeah, I think also what we shouldn't forget is, and you touched on this point, Dimi, with working with people who know what the fuck they're talking about, is like an example, consultants that can help you through the licensing process, because you can, if you work with people that haven't done this before, you're gonna lose a lot of money and time, right? So you should first of all have the first plan. Okay, who do I work with in order to get my license? And again, you're gonna need natives for it, because the application is in German, and you should work with people that have experience in this market, and again know what they're talking about. And then for sure the second is to really have a good idea and have a good look of what your player acquisition costs are, because in the end of the day, especially at the start, that's like the most deciding thing, whether you're going to have a healthy business or whether you're going to need cash injections every 3 months or so. So effectively there is a lot of knowledgeable people who are German and who work on the German market with a lot of companies to help them on licensing applications, to help them with which online games to use, which are the most effective, or which are the quickest ones that I can get through the licensing process, because by now we know which games are widely accepted by the GGL, and overall to also know the suppliers that you have, right? Which are the best ones, what do Germans like, and again, don't do marketing just for the sake of marketing. Like, you have to have really localized good marketing that speaks to the the German person, or to the person with an example Greek background, or to the person with with Turkish background, or to the person with Polish, Serbian background, etc. Because this is the truth, right? I mean, if you can come up with something that people can grasp, that people can kind of get from from their all day life. And I think there is still a lot of potential. When I look at the marketing in Germany, I think there is still a lot of potential. I mean, we're using, let's say, football or handball or basketball as like the main figures, and there is some famous ex-football players who do these things. I think we have to be careful when we talk about influencers, because that's another big topic
Don't do that.
that you cannot do in Germany. But I think there is a lot more potential to really speak to the people in a different way. I feel like, and especially in Germany, we got stuck in this kind of making adverts just for a persona which does not represent the German that you want to talk to, right? So you are talking mostly to this person that's between 35 and 45 years old, that's male, works 9 to 5 or works from 6 till 2, and that's not the case anymore. I mean, we've kind of now developed into something different. And I think especially for the people with like immigration background, I mean, obviously that was myself an example in Germany, but also many other people. There is so much more you can do, and there is so much more that you can entertain these people with, and the German culture is not just the German culture from 150 years ago. It's a multicultural culture, which is again different from north to south to west to east. Because I mean, let me tell you, I mean, I used to live 1 hour away from the Denmark border on the North Sea coast, and I can tell you the people are completely different than someone that's from from München or from Köln or
Black
from
Forest.
Berlin. Yeah.
I'm coming from the Black Forest, so in southwestern part of Germany.
Yeah, exactly, right. So again, it's I guess in our iGaming terms, you'd call this hyper localized, but it's not. It's not difficult. It's not, like, honestly, trust me, it's not difficult. So like in the Black Forest in the southwest of Germany, you can do something, or you can talk to people there. You can talk to people in a different way in Bavaria. You can talk to people differently in the Rhineland, as we say. So this is like West Germany. You can talk to people differently in Hamburg, as we would say, and then also in Berlin, right? So there's so many different things, but all I see is just some boring general stuff that doesn't even get me 1% interested.
Well, it is super dynamic, and thanks for addressing this. Definitely, the persona segments are all the time changing, and it will be changing. So we need to adjust to that. The recommendations that you actually suggested, gentlemen, they are addressing both new and existing operators, and also, in my opinion, from what you said, Roger, over here, also those international operators who would like to enter the German market. This is also valid for. So thank you so much for adding those precious details. I would like to end our session today with an important topic. I don't think it is only for Germany, for international markets, but living Germany for a while, living in a country neighboring Germany, I know that trust and brand loyalty are top, let's say, priorities for German players. They would like to have safe, secure, and transparent iGaming experience. Here's my last question. What strategies should operators adopt to build trust and brand loyalty among German players?
Ooh. That's I will try to
maybe some capsule-sized answers.
To be honest, to build up trust, it's for sure if you just look around. So our number one show in Germany is after Tatort, for sure, the Sportschau. Where you can build up trust if you see the brand, for example, on the television. When you're looking at soccer, you see for sure the number. I don't want to say something wrong, but there is something like a number one brand like Bayern Munich for sure. Sorry about that. There are other, but there's typical.
That's very true.
Yeah, and there's trust building. That's that they did it perfect. There's also another one. Look at Berlin and Wiles, for that they're also working together. That's something like they're building up trust for sure. There's several other things, but this is one. This is a trust builder. Then when you're going and you find a way to the casino side, there's also trust building. Which payment methods? The German now a lot of people are saying, oh, it's old school or something, but we have, for example, PayPal, MasterCard, and all that stuff. That's typically for German. So they like when you're coming to a German set, there's something like Revolut, and say, what's that? Can you pronounce it again? So they're in, for example, that's something like trust building, because they're thinking, okay, they already checked it. Okay, that's something they are used to it. So that's I think that's a typical German thing. They are used to. They know Bayern Munich. They know PayPal. They are trusting it, and that's why it's getting so hard for a new brand to get on the German market, because they're the big players there, and they already have a lot of trust. So, or also IDnow, for example, everybody knows this company and they are trusting it for sure. There are other, I don't want to make it advertisement all the time, but everybody knows IDnow when we're especially also talking in the German market. So there is the trust of. So if I want to give an advice for a company who wants to build up trust, go into the standard thing what Germans love. They love soccer. They love their sports. They are watching a lot of. That's the thing. You have to combine it. You have to work together with the big players. So, for example, a new company, a new I would say a new operator, which is working together. For example, let's say IDnow and the make advertising. They trust them because they know exactly the customer trusts them because IDnow already checked them, so they are not working with an unregulated company to go. That's how it works. And then on the other side, you have to make it sure that you're always on the regulated side. Therefore, there's different companies also in the market who are taking care of that. So this is a thing for trust building. Don't go to the dark side. Only go on the regulated side, and therefore there are the big companies, for example, like the IDnow company.
Fantastic. Thanks for the mention. Don't go for the dark side. So, Roger, maybe a bit from you.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thanks to Dimitry for doing my the guerrilla marketing for me. So I really appreciate it. I think I would just repeat what I just said before. I think the trust comes from when people feel like they're familiar with you, and this is certainly how because you got to put yourself in a person that is living in Germany or is from Germany, right? So how do I approach them? An example: if you are in North Germany, you'd say "Moin" at the beginning of a message. In Bavaria, you'd say an example, "Grüß Gott." In other parts of Germany, you'd say other things, right? So it's I think again I think as a brand, as long as you can, let's say, show them that you are a reputable business. I mean, first of all, a lot of Germans still care about where is this company based, how long have they been on the market, like who are the investors. So you gotta have also like a corporate website almost, and to explain what your company does. I think if you look at an example, Tipico and Tain, they all have that type of website where people can look and they see like, oh, okay, they've been operating for 20 years, so they've been around a long time, so they must know what they're doing, because otherwise they would have been closed down or whatever. So totally agree with Dimi on that perspective. And otherwise, yeah, from a trust perspective, all I can say is it's like as long as you offer all the traditional things, especially on the payment method. I've never seen a market that uses PayPal so much like like Germans do, which is not the best for operators, because the fees are quite high. but yeah, otherwise it's just really having the traditional stuff, but also mixing some new stuff to excite the new players. So I think as a company, you just gotta either, like, there is no such thing as like, I'm going to do a bit of Germany, because that will always fail, because people will see straight through it, because it's just a generic website and I can go somewhere else and it is a lot cooler and it speaks to me a lot more. So I think you are either all in or you're all out. And
exactly.
And
I
really
think,
like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a market to test. And when you just go to that market, I can speak maybe a bit more, let's say, marketing direction. It is very important to have the localization done well, especially for the international companies, because it's a very unique market. Dimi, do you have anything else to add on top of what Roger mentioned earlier?
I think 1000% with Roger. And I think for giving an advice or something, it's, in my opinion, you can have the best, most important games to offer to your customers. But if you do not have the whole customer journey, proper pay-ins, a smooth KYC, a good AML, and a perfect payout system, in a short amount of time you can offer the best games, it will not work, because there are hundreds other there. They are offering the same games, but the thing behind it, that's the most important thing. And this costs money, this costs time, and by the end, this is for me the I would say the point where you can build up trust or not. If you're paying a lot of money in marketing and stuff, but your customer will not get money because it takes 3 weeks to do, for example, just to make a KYC check or something. If this check is not being in seconds, uh, then you're losing this customer, or the customer said, no, this casino will not paying me. And then you're putting millions of euros in advertising any football clubs or something. But if you're not paying out, or there's a problem in between, then you're losing this customer. And for sure, the customers will talking to each others. You know it. We're in the World Wide Web, so they are talking to each other, and then you're losing. So be very careful on that. Only go for the good ones.
When I was preparing for this session, I was a little bit intimidated because the German market is uniquely complex. But you both made it so much clearer for me and our viewers. Today, we have covered incredible insights from you, gentlemen, like how the market is evolving, the impact of regulations, the role of technology, what operators need to focus on to enhance player experience. These are all great takeaways for, I would say, both established and new brands in the market. Before we wrap up the conversation today, do you have anything else to share with our audience?
Roger, you want to go first?
I think I've already talked too much already, so I'll give the floor to you, Dimi.
Okay. So my advice is, as I said before, thinking about going into the German market, please contact the person who is in the German market, who will give you a wrap up. And this time you're spending and listening to those people will save you a lot of time and a lot of money. Because it's Germany, it's complex. The regulator is complex, but it isn't impossible. If you're there and you decided to go there with all the pros and cons, it will be a real good market for you. But first, taking the time and ask the right people for their advice. Yeah.
Dimi, thank you. And I think you're one of the best people to ask it. And you have got Zelda Consulting. So how people can reach out to you? Maybe you can advise them. I know you use LinkedIn very actively.
I'm on LinkedIn. You can follow me on the homepage, zelda-consulting.de.com.everything. For sure, I'm on I would say on nearly every SBC conference around the world. So I'm helping companies as well for LATAM, US, and Canada as well. So just feel free. But I think the easiest way, and I like it easy, going straight forward, is just contacting me on LinkedIn.
Amazing. And Roger, over to you. How our viewers can get in touch with you to learn more about the compliance, KYC, and other very important steps.
The best way is to just connect on LinkedIn, and or if of course just reach out to you, Faruk, and you can also make the intro here. So whatever is the easiest way. I'm a fan of simplicity and easy things. So yeah.
I love it. Dimi, Roger, thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. And of course, our viewers, thank you for joining us today. I'm sure you have now a better understanding of the German market, especially in 2025 with all the new updates and changes that we addressed. This session is brought to you by Pinup Partners, and they are heading to Affiliate World conferences in Dubai. So if you'll be around, make sure that you visit them as well. And once again, thank you for watching us, and I will see you at the next Revpanda Live.
Thank you, Faruk. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks.